I mainly think of the majority of snakes as being beautiful, very gentle, and very kind. Danakisran acutus, Protobothrops jordani, Eupriopus mandarinus, Elaphie carinata, Elaphie te naira.
Wow, how can you recognize so many amazing species?
It's just animals that I love, and so for me, I've known these things for many years because I study the pictures of these animals. Here in Shennongjia, we can see several of these species. So do you want to see some of them?
Yeah, really? It's so cool.
Yeah, it's easy here.
Okay.
All right, so let's go. My name is Kevin Messenger. I'm an American from North Carolina, and I moved to China in 2017 as a professor at Nanjing Forestry University. My main area of interest is herpetology. So my entire PhD study took place in China, and when I finished my PhD work, I was offered a job in China. I was also offered a job in the US, but the China job gave me a lot more opportunity to continue doing what I want to do, so that's why I accepted the Chinese job. My first memory of a snake was when I was 3 years old. My father, who's an emergency vet, he brought home a python. And I remember looking in the back of the car and seeing this massive snake and just falling in love with it. I just thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so from that moment, I had an interest in snakes. I mainly think of the majority of snakes as being beautiful, and most of them are very gentle and very kind. It's only a few species that will actually bite you. One of the reasons why I wanted to continue doing work in China as opposed to the US is because the state of herpetology in China is still wide open. You can still go out to many different places and still find new species. The natural history of many of these species we still don't have a full understanding of.
We have seen Taihuayuan motofu in the
Really? Does he know what our elevation is right now? The only road is that one right there.
So we need to get away.
We need to cross that fence.
So he's now taking us there.
All right. Oh, yeah. 在这儿。好，很好。
小心。
喂，黄金蛇。哦，很好。
咬到的手。
哎，it's biting.
咬到的手，
Biting. This is the first snake who bites for this.
没有毒。黄金蛇。
See, I was right.
Yeah, you were. 有蛇。The snake smells bad, and the idea is that you don't want to eat it.
Where's banana?
Huang Qi has it. I just need her sweat.
You don't want to wipe it?
Not yet.
What?
Well.
Ah!
你没事吧? Big enough to defend itself. He's not attacking, he's defending. I attacked him. This is the top jaw. The top jaw has 4 rows of teeth. So that's how you know it's the top jaw. And here's the bottom jaw right there. He bit like this. This one, being as big as it is, maybe, I would say 5 to 6 years old.
但它就是除了咬人，它没有毒，所以没事。
Yeah, 没有毒，没问题. It's a common species throughout Shennongjia. They like the water, which is probably why we found them in that little dried up stream. It's a daytime snake. 谢谢，再见。
谢谢你，谢谢你。
My usual work is I focus mainly on biological surveys and conservation, and in the process of doing those works, sometimes I run across new species. If you're in the field, the process is usually going to a location for a certain number of days, let's say a week, and in that week you try to sample as many habitats as you can at different times, and ideally different times of the year as well. When you find animals, you try to identify them as best you can, whether that's via photographs or actually getting your hand on them and possibly making a specimen out of them. If you do surveys on roads, oftentimes you can find dead animals, and so those are much easier to make into a specimen because they're already dead. So I like to put dead animals to use. I don't like to capture live animals and then kill them for the purposes of a specimen. And then so after you do that survey, you go back to your university or your home base and you document all your recordings in whatever database you might have.
Could you imagine?
Right here.
Okay.
And that's when we turned around and started walking over here, and that's the farmer that then led us to this forest right here. Okay. Well, so if you zoom out, anywhere you see red is a snake.
Oh, you have already marked the position?
Yeah.
Wow, even with the pictures, there are many details.
It is very tiring, and it is very hard, and it's underappreciated, and but it is very enjoyable. You know, every single time I see a snake, you know, I just get super excited. You could say I'm also kind of a workaholic in that regard because I want to always be doing it. I want to always be looking for snakes, always looking for frogs, always writing up the information of my discoveries. I've also, last month I did a survey in Japan. I'll be doing some more surveys in northern Jiangxi. In September I'll be going to Sichuan, also Korea. So I'm all over the place, yeah. Shennongjia is definitely the most place I've been to the most. 16 times. Well, I think part of it has to do with the simple fact that this is my first place in China. So for me, it has a special appreciation. First time was 2006, May of 2006 in Shennongjia, and I was here for about 4 months. I was finishing my undergraduate degree, and at that time there was a job posted on the internet, and the job simply said, we need a student to come to the mountains of central China and to do a survey of the reptiles and amphibians in this mountain range that had never been surveyed before. So I applied for the job, and so I graduated in I think May 15 of 2006, and then 5 days later I flew to China, and then I began my exploration of Shennongjia. Mai. Okay.
Oh, ants.
Yeah, Mai done. Chanchu.
Oh my, what's this?
Chanchu.
Can I?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, gentle.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. I'm so cute actually.
They're very cute.
Okay.
Toads are very cute. It's possible this is a new species.
Really?
Yeah, we're working on it right now to describe it.
Oh my god. This is the first time you have discovered it.
No, I found this all the time.
All the time. Okay.
Yeah, but in the past we didn't have as much genetic technology as we do now. I think over the years I have personally added about 10 new species to Shennongjia. And then right now I'm working on what's most likely a new species of toad. And there might also be some other new species out there as well. They gave me this special appointment that essentially makes me an employee. Part of our job is to go to these new locations that right now they're not part of Shennongjia. Look at what kind of animals and plants they have, and if they qualify for being enveloped within Shennongjia, the new boundaries will be drawn. The protective zone of Shennongjia will get bigger and bigger. Comparing 2006 to now, a lot has changed. I remember in those early days I would have to walk down the street to an internet cafe just to check my email. Even in 2006 I found a really strange snake that I was trying to send out to friends and family. I had to wait until I got back to Muyu and to get to the internet cafe. And of course, now we just have cell phones and we can check our mail while we're out in the middle of nowhere. And so the technology convenience is a major change. The roads were much rougher. There was no high-speed trains either. Like to get to Shennongjia, it was like a 24-hour train ride from Beijing to Yichang. And then from Yichang, it was a 5 to 6 hour bus ride to Muyu. And so the convenience now is way more significant, way better. And of course the improved roads now makes it a lot faster to go from Muyu to wherever you want to go. Pingqian, Dongxi, Xiagu, Bantang we went to just the other day, and back in 2006 that was an all-day trip. It would take you all day just to go from one place to the next day. What a pangyo.
Oh, the
Yeah.
friend, right?
Ling Liu.
Oh, you met in 2006?
Yeah,
it's
I've
about
noticed more and more
8
people
years
having an appreciation
ago.
for the environment and for wildlife and being more interested in doing whatever they can to help. And this has been another reason why I've really enjoyed and wanted to continue doing my work in Shennongjia, because the officers here have been very supportive of me, and they're giving me an office and they're giving me a museum and a lab. They are making it very welcoming for me to come and do my research. The people here were some of the first people I ever met in China when I first came. And I still see these people to this day, almost 20 years later. And so the people are incredibly nice.
It's cooled in the stream, in the river,
这就是我们自己做那个土豆饼。
It's made of potato. It's a potato pie, shredded potato.
做广告，对，介绍一下。这就是我们神农架自己酿的酒，蜂蜜呢是我们自己产的呢，我们自己蜂蜜酿自己产的蜂蜜加里面加里面蜂蜜酒。谢谢。这个很好喝的。干杯！这个鸡蛋皮就是自己喂的鸡下的蛋。
I've been so used to Chinese life these days that nothing is really surprising to me anymore. And of course, a significant part of my life is now in China. My second half is in China. March of this year, when I mentioned that I wanted to come to Shennongjia to do a survey, she came with me to Shennongjia, and she had never been here before. The scenery is amazing, the wildlife is interesting, the climate is comfortable. And so she came here and Yeah, she fell in love with the place too. She went herping with us, went out at night to catch frogs and toads. Protecting the environment is protecting us because we belong to the environment. If you don't have ecological protections and if you don't have the education that comes from ecological protection, then most people are going to be ignorant of the importance. And as an educator, probably trying to help people appreciate wildlife and appreciate the reason we should conserve animals and not kill them. That is probably the more significant part of my work. My sister would always ask Dad, so when's Kevin going to come back? When's Kevin going to come back? And this most recent time, Dad has told her, he's like, I don't think he's ever coming back. Like, his support system in China is so good that I see no reason for him to come back, why he would want to come back to the US. When I got married, my dad flew over for the wedding, and every single day he was just super happy. Like, one day after the next day after the next day after the next day. Everything was great. He had such a great time that at the end of the trip, when it came time for him to go home, he really didn't want to go home. But so now he's going to try to come back as soon as he can, because he just said the time he spent in China was just wonderful. And I think, and I've tried to tell a lot of my friends this, I think a lot of people just have the perceptions that we get from the news. And of course, the news is biased, either left or right. And once you get to experience the people, it's so much different. I think my sister, again, had this preconception about China not being the best place to live, but she's never been here, so how can she judge it? Once she comes to China, maybe she'll think differently. I'm hoping to stay for maybe at least another 10 years. Then at the end of 10 years, I'll see what things look like and maybe continue another 10 years.